Thousands of doctors in England's state-funded health system walked off the job in a 5-day strike over pay that the government says will disrupt care for patients across the country. Resident doctors, those early in their careers who form the backbone of hospital and clinical care, took to picket lines outside hospitals after talks with the government broke down. The National Health Service said emergency departments would be open and hospitals and clinics would try to carry out as many scheduled appointments as possible. The doctors are seeking a pay rise to make up for what their union, the British Medical Association, says is a 20% real terms pay cut since 2008. Dr. Melissa Ryan and Dr. OceanNewUK said of the Chairs Union's Resident Doctor Committee, erosion has now got to the point where a doctor's assistant can be paid up to 30% more than a resident doctor. The government says doctors have received an average 28.9% increase and will not offer more, but is willing to discuss improved working conditions.
The Philippine Supreme Court has voided the impeachment complaint filed against Vice President Sara Duterte. In its ruling, the court stated the complaint violated a constitutional safeguard that prohibits filing multiple impeachment cases against the same official within a year. The decision reinforces Duterte's political position and halts any ongoing proceedings tied to the complaint.
Brazil's Supreme Court decided not to order the arrest of former President Jair Bolsonaro for an isolated breach of court-imposed restrictions, but warned he could be imprisoned for future violations. Justice Alexandre Moraes last week ordered Bolsonaro to wear an ankle bracelet and stop using social media over allegations he courted the interference of US President Donald Trump, who tied new tariffs on Brazil to what he called a witch hunt against his right-wing ally. The justice threatened Bolsonaro with arrest, saying he breached the restrictions on his social media use, including through third parties, when he talked to journalists in Brasilia.
The head of the United Nations nuclear watchdog said Iran has indicated that it will be ready to restart conversations at a technical level regarding its nuclear program. Iran needs to be transparent about its facilities and activities, Rafael Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, said in Singapore. Earlier in July, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the country plans to cooperate with the nuclear watchdog despite restrictions imposed by its parliament. While stressing that access to its bombed nuclear sites posed security and safety issues, Araghchi at that time reiterated that Iran will not agree to any nuclear deal that does not allow it to enrich uranium.
Delegations have arrived at Iran's Istanbul consulate for face-to-face talks between Iran and the so-called E3 group of France, Britain and Germany. Senior diplomats from the E3 group are set to hold talks with Iran's negotiation team for the first time since US and Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear sites in June, aiming to gauge Tehran's appetite for a compromise to avert sanctions. Ahead of the talks, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that Tehran's position remained firm and steadfast. Our uranium enrichment will continue. We will not give up this right of the Iranian people.